go live. 2, 3, 1.
Hey everyone, it's Simone. I'm here with Bella with Unlock Your Design and the Inner Circle. Every week we do something live with our Inner Circle members, and once a month we go live for an open house where we invite people in for a tester. We're super excited to be here with you today, and we wanted to do a mirroring presence session. Many people in our groups, our circles, are asking us about how do y'all do that? How are you so present for each other? And what we thought we would do today is mirror how we do that. Bella, what would you like to add?
Yeah, I'm excited too. And it actually feels so like a luxury to know that I'm going to get to be present with you tonight, Simone, and how, we're both going to get to just witness ourselves and witness the other. So I'm excited and I feel lucky that we're doing this.
Why don't you start? What's alive for you today?
Let me make sure that I sit comfortably. Yeah, when I tune in, I do feel my solar plexus and I do feel my heartbeat a little bit more strong than what's comfortable. And I know that we were on a call with Ashley, and she was speaking about some pressure in her throat, and she has an open throat. And I know that that's often when she feels, when you have open center, you feel the other. So I guess that there is some pressure in the field. And I guess that I'm going back to what is always usually the thing for me, and it's time. So I'm feeling I'm feeling a little bit of stress because I was supposed to be in a call now, but I really wanted to work on what we were working on before. And I did check with Anna, who's in Bali, that she can meet later. But I always feel like time is pulling me in all directions. And sometimes I don't know what the right choice is. And I know that also we kind of could have continued working on what we were working with, and something was pulling to that. So I kind of feel, I think that that's the contraction that I feel in my solar plexus. Yeah, and I wish I could just, actually I took off my watch before. I wish I could just throw away the time. And another thing that's alive for me is that I'm looking for an apartment, and it seems like right now everybody's moving to Miami. And I also feel, if I wait a little bit, I'm going to find something better. But at the same time, I want to go to Europe in the summer, and it's going to be at least this a year. And at the same time, I want to buy an apartment. So I don't want to be kind of stuck in a lease with a 2-month termination fee, and then at the same time be buying, but I can't move to so I feel with that as well, some uncertainty. And I know that the sun right now is on my Venus tomorrow, 25.6 in Aries. And my Mars is completely opposite in the wheel in Libra, in the beginning of Libra. And so he probably feels the fire of Venus. And he's like, but I just want everything to make sense. And he's just weighing everything. And it's hard for him to make sense. So And then at the same time, I guess the last thing is that I'm still realizing that those, issues, problems are kind of tiny. And what we often speak about when it comes to the fourth line personality being a 4-6 is that, yeah, I can feel that in my solar plexus. I can feel my heart a little bit harder. But at the end of the day, if I come back to my sacral, to my body, to my heart, I see that those things are tiny, like what Richard said, break out of anxiety, which is that kind of pressure, by realizing that your problems are tiny, is what he says. But I more say, come back to what you love. So for me, I feel like I'm going to have a nice call after this with hopefully somebody's understanding. Anna's in Bali. She's going to have time to take a walk. So we're going to speak after. And maybe I get to speak to Ashley later tonight so that she doesn't feel like she wanted to continue working, and that like everything is actually really fine, and I'm happy to wait for the right place to live. I'm not stressed, and I'm quite happy where I am right now. And at the end of the day, a lot of those things are just, I guess, stresses and emotions that are passing through me somehow, and it's not something that I need to collapse into or yeah, do anything with, really, more than realizing that it's there. And I guess, yeah, every time I battle with time, I always lose. So I just feel like I need to stop battling with time. Yeah, that's what's alive for me right now.
I could recap what I heard you say, and I could talk about how I felt when you talked. But you know what was striking me is I was noticing how that when you were talking, when you were acknowledging what was alive for you, how I could just feel everything shift. And as you came back into your heart with your awareness, how the energy just kind of calmed down. But I'm wondering if that's what you experienced. What did you experience when you went through that whole cycle of sharing?
Yeah, that tendency to just make a problem of something, or feel like somebody's going to get upset. I think that's part of what I'm feeling. I'm just often tipping on glass so that no so that somebody doesn't get upset, and sometimes I'm that person tipping around glass with myself when I'm not meeting a deadline or something. So I guess I am noticing in myself that fear of disappointing, or that fear of choosing the wrong thing, and then, you know, usually it's me punishing myself. But yeah, when I do that, when I feel like I haven't lived up to the highest possible. So I do feel, like you say, more in my body, and I also feel like I can see a pattern that is creating stress, and that the fact that you're mirroring me allows me to see that. Otherwise I wouldn't really have put, like, my finger on it.
Thank you for that. And I would love to ask you what's most interesting about what you shared is, for me, is that you said you got to that you punish yourself and that you're not living up to something. And that to me is really special. And I feel like you're really sharing your heart with me. And if you feel like you could go there, I would love to hear.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that is like it feels, it has felt as a curse for me. And I do believe, speaking human design language, that it's connected to my completely open ego, heart, will center. I have nothing. So it's really, really difficult for me to have an awareness, or a logical awareness of what's enough and what's not enough. And I guess what I've been doing is to put that, like, I put it so high so that I can make sure that it's good enough, whether it's grades in school or results with work or even friendship or in business. Like, I put it so high because I don't feel like I have a reference for what's enough. um and that is, it's hard to live like that because it's never enough. It's like not only not having a reference for what's enough, but it's almost like there is no upper limit. So there's always going to be like you can never win in a way. You can never win, because if you do almost enough, you're gonna have the hesitancy. But if you do too much, it's your last drop of blood. So then it's wrong anyway. So yeah, I can feel that, and the despondency that is has been creating in me.
I just want to say thank you for sharing the depths of your soul. And when you got to that place, I literally felt the exhaustion of carrying that, and the depth of that despondency for you. Thank you for trusting me with that, trusting all of us. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And the image that I get when you say that is that an open center, like I just got that it's not mine. Like the fact that I can share it and I kind of took ownership for it as mine, as you were saying, what you were just saying, I just felt this image that it's not even mine, because I don't have, like, I just take in everything that's around me. And as humanity, we are running around proving ourselves for so many things, or not feeling enough, or not feeling found like foundationally worthy. So I also feel a bit of that. Yeah, it feels very, it's been there, but it's not only mine. It is like it's not mine to hold. Like I can maybe become more as an observer of it, knowing that it's not really just me somehow.
Mm,
Thank you.
I love that. Thank you so much. That reminds me of when I read the 35, truly got into the 35, and 35 is my evolution. Hunger, adventure, bounteousness. And I remember reading Richard's words about how the 35 is tapped into the collective hunger. And it made so much sense to me, because there were times in my life where I was eating and I knew I wasn't hungry, but I had this voracious hunger. And when I read that, I was like, oh my gosh, I was holding the collective consciousness of hunger. And it really shifted things for me. And when you just shared, I feel like you were holding the collective tiredness
Mm.
that center. Yeah. Thank you.
Mm.
And then I want to ask, what would it be like to put that down? Like I actually know what it was like for me to go through this deconditioning process of when I would eat and I would be like, I'm not hungry. And I just put the fork down. I'm like, oh, I'm eating for the world. Go put the plate away. Once I had the awareness, it was easy to just, differentiate. Oh, I'm eating for the collective right now. Or no, I don't want to eat for the collective right now. I just like to eat, because I'd like to nourish my body. And so there was a big shift for me. And I just wonder, I mean, how, what would it be like to put that down? What would it might feel like, or how might that, happen? I don't have an answer. I'm just like so curious by where this has taken us.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, I do feel that it's possible. Like it's not possible, it is possible. Like somehow, how there is something, I guess, in humanity right now. And coming back to myself, there's some of the things that they're not possible, but actually they are possible. That's what I get. And I guess if you would have asked me 15 months ago, you know can you just be in one place for a year, I would have said that's impossible. I won't be able to be in one place. It hasn't happened in all my life. It's not going to happen. But then it is possible. And I mean, I got a little bit of help to stop flying everywhere. But there is just something with that. What do I have to prove? And I guess it goes very well together with my motivation of hope as well. Like, I'm not really here to prove anything. I am here to be I'm not here to prove anything. I'm here to be inspired. I'm not here to push anything with my willpower. Although my 34 knows how to force, but that's the thing. All my experience with forcing, improving, has never given me any joy. And I used to say that when I had like 100% in my exams in college or high school, it was just like a check in a box. It was never celebration. So yeah, it has never really given me true satisfaction to live up to all these things. And it actually gives me much more joy when I don't show up fully, and when I might be a little bit late for a call, but I have communicated to the person before, I've been transparent about what's going on, and that is accepted, and that happened even that happened for us, Simone, when we were in a call like a month ago, and I rescheduled all the call for an afternoon, and it was so interesting to see those three people that I was supposed to speak with in those 2-3 hours. Like, I felt like I got to know them better in just their response to that, me having to cancel or postpone, than I would have if I had spoken with them that hour, because that really made me see if they could put themselves in my situation, if they so there was something very, very, very telling when we don't push to the last drop of blood, like I usually say, to see the true colors of other people. And I believe that I haven't let people show me their true colors many times, because I just staged everything so that it would be as perfect as possible. And then they didn't get to show their true colors. And that is not really, there's something like inauthentic in that as well, I guess, from my side.
I really love that. I mean, we've worked together for so long, 4 deltas, a year of Unlock Your Design. We're going into our 3rd year of working together, and you know that what you just spoke is how I truly live my life. And I agree with you. There's something about divine timing when we can relax in it. And, for me, everything is about, I'll go on any journey. Just tell me, just communicate clearly, like what you know in each moment. And I'm fine for that. And I'm with you that when we're in the divinity of the moment, okay, I'm going to be late, and we communicate transparently. Sorry, I need to, I need to reschedule this. We do get to see, we do allow people to show us and to teach us their truth, right, and what's going through them. So I really love that, and you're playing my harp strings because um I it's so a part of who I am as a being to just be in the flow. And if something gets canceled, it's not to say I'm not going to be disappointed, but when the message is communicated clearly, and I pivot because I think, oh well, all in divine timing, right? And everything's going to unfold. So it's what a great example. But yeah, so that you can be and allow yourself that divine timing, and know that it's okay when you have to shift, and allow yourself that.
Yeah. And I feel I want to say, what feels so good when we do this is that what you're doing with me, it's like you're not really giving me advice. You're not like, it's not like you're not giving me advice. You're not finding solutions for me. You're not telling me what to do, but you're there with me, and you're asking me questions that allow me to go deeper. And then I can actually, we are in that Gene Key 25 right now, which is constriction. So every time I ask a question, it's like, I feel like a little bit more I come in, even if it might be a bit uncomfortable, I come more into my body and I go to those places. And it's because the acceptance, which is the gift frequency of a 25, the acceptance is there. And I can see that you're not going to judge me. I can see that you're not here to find my solutions, but you're here to mirror me where I'm at. And also your curiosity, makes me also curious to see what's behind this constriction, what's behind the heart, and it's almost like we always say that there are a million possibilities in your life to see your patterns, right? So it's hologenetic. You kind of just have to go into one of those patterns, and then your whole life story, like of me, kind of squeezing into the last drop of blood, it's there in every little story, that kind of, in every little constriction, in a way, it's there. So that's why I also feel like this is so powerful. You can stop your life in any one moment. And since your DNA is always the same and replicating, your patterns are always the same and replicating. It doesn't matter where you take the moment and stop. And you have that loving acceptance mirroring in front of you that can tell you this is what you're doing right now, but without saying it. It's just you reflecting yourself in that awareness, in that reflection. So it's so valuable. And I feel like, I mean, those 20 minutes have shown that, to me, in how I feel, but also I believe that it is an example of of how this can work. And I would love us to do one next week again, maybe where I do it for you. But I think it kind of turned out well, in the sense of like what it can open up for us.
Mhm. Yeah. Truly. And I, what I always love about being present with you is that when I'm present with you, I learn as much about you, and then I learn as much about me. Just being present with you, and really truly hearing you. Um, you're helping me to see inside myself by just receiving you. So thank you for that.
Mm.
Mm. Well, is there anything else you'd like to share, or do you feel like this is complete, or?
I mean, I do feel, Simone, that even for our team, in what we do, that I would love to implement something like this on a weekly basis. I'm looking at the day. I mean, what if we would end a week like that on Fridays, maybe, when usually we do the reevaluate, like the evaluate and realign, because there's something where I feel, if this can happen regularly, and if this can happen if you are, if you're colleagues, or if you're doing some, whatever journey you're on with somebody in life, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a work relationship, whether it's your partner, to find regular place for, it's almost like we create this bubble. And right now we are in this bubble, and I was the person, witnessing myself and being witnessed and opening up. And then there is, we could change it around, and then it would be Simone. I do feel, if we would have done this before we started to work with Ashley today, I feel like something about what she was feeling in her throat would have come up. I feel like something about my, need to organize things when we had started to kind of finish doing it. And I'm sure for you, Simone, there were things that were alive. So if we would have done that, I feel like we would have discovered things like you're saying about ourselves and the other. And I actually want to implement this, not just when it happens to happen, which it does for us, but actually as our HR practice.
Love it. I love it. Because I'm just gonna share with people. We had a marketing meeting with a reflector on Friday, and it turned out to be what I feel like is one of the most important meetings we've had in a year, because that's exactly that unfolding and talking about what we want. We were just so present for each other. It just revealed so much, and now I have so much clarity, like about what each of us needs and what each of us wants and what each of our strengths are, what each of our motivations are. And what our fears are, what I, all of it. And that presence, like you said, I think the more present we are, the work gets done if we're present. And it seems like there's, almost like less drag on the things that we perceive have to get done when we've just been present for what is the truth of us. And then it's almost like we move like light speed because we've heard, we've seen, we've communicated the truth of us. And then the universe kind of takes care of, you know, everything else coming together. So, me, I'd love that. Mm.
Yeah, and what you're saying makes me think about the pearl. Like we are going into business by design, the immersion now, and part of business by design is we are going into the pearl. And this weekend when I was sitting with it, it's about a simplicity. And there is something about when we are present. It's almost like the things we have, like I was saying, we have all these shoulds, what how it should look, what we should do, how much we need to create, like all these things that come from the mind. And then when we are present, it's like we come back to the essential and we simplify. And often, that's the quality of things. And some of the things are just falling away, and it's more of that essence that stays. So I also feel, yeah, maybe there is not that there, somehow the quantity of what we create is less, but at the end of the day, the transformational power of what we create is fed with a higher frequency than having done all the things we thought we were going to do, by stress. So yeah, I think it kind of goes back to what I was saying as well before, so it makes a lot of sense.
Do we have time for me to share a story?
Yeah, go.
You may have heard me tell this story before, but I am always asking my body, show me the way. And when I was in my career, and there would be days where I would have this really long list, and it's Sunday, and I have this really long list of things to do to get through my week or the next day. And I would be overwhelmed. When I started to feel the feeling of overwhelm, I'd stop and I'd just say, body, what do I need? How can you help me get through this list? What do you need to help me do this? And I would just go into my body and I would just be asking it, body, show me the way. What do you need to help me? And without fail, my body would say something like, go to a movie, go on a horseback ride, go for a hike. But its favorite thing was it would say to me, go to a funny movie. And so, this was no small task for me because I lived 45 minutes out of town. So I'd have to find a funny movie, drive 45 minutes into town, 45 minutes home. That's an hour and a half. What's a movie? An hour and a half. We're talking 3 hours, right? In my day, I'd be like, body, really? You need a funny movie? Pull up the movie list. I'd drive into town. I would give my body what it's need. I'd just submit, like I asked my body, this is what it said. I'm just going to lift my paddle and submit. I'd go do the movie. And without fail, I would come home and half the list would be gone. And it's just what you said, like how would it, some of you may be thinking, well, how the hell did that happen? Right? I would open my email and somebody had taken tasks away. Somebody would have done tasks. A deadline would have moved. And then I would end up with 2 or 3 things that I would finish like in an hour.
Simone, and also now that we are going into motivation, and that's part of the masterclass we're going to do in a week. And, your motivation, my motivation is hope. So, it is that it is to just go with what's natural and easy and fun, and being in your own dance. And then think, that together with your strategy and authority. So it feels like, long before you even knew your motivation, human design, you had found a way to tune into your body, come back to the truth of your body, and actually follow your true motivation, which is amazing. Which your transference would have been to fix the problems and feeling guilty if you didn't get it done. So it's super interesting that you're mentioning that. So aligned with your design.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because yeah, I didn't know, but I just knew, this was the truth for me and how it worked. And you're right, there are different motivations. So we all, what worked for me is not for some people it's going to inspire. If your motivation is hope, and if you know what your motivation is and it's hope, that example may help you. But there are five other motivations, and so five other strategies. And um you know being aware of that helps us align with what the truth is in our own bodies. If your motivation isn't hope, but it's need, or uh one of the other ones, and you can figure that out, then how much space do you open for yourself, right? How much ease do you create for whatever it is? So yeah, I mean, if you're curious, if we're talking about something that you don't know, look forward to, we were just planning it today, we don't even have the dates yet, but we're going to be doing a master class right in April, and we'll be talking about some of this motivation. So if you'd like to play with us on that, look forward to it in coming up in April.
Yay. And
Yeah.
I guess before we get off, just the three things that we have open. So the inner circle is still open. That's the membership. We kind of spontaneously just get in there and do things. And there are some things also planned every month. That's the kind of base membership. You're never too late for anything. You can watch all the replays. It's between $22 and $33 per month, depending on how long you sign up for. And then we have two longer programs. One journey has already started. It's the Business by Design, where we're going to go into basically 21 spheres, you could say, or 21 different places when it comes to your business, whether it's your life, your soul business, your outer business, your life business, whatever. It's about you playing in alignment with the different parts of your life, basically. And that's already started. We're also going to have a lot of really interesting life examples of people that have been successful in life or in business in that one. We already had a few of them that we know are going to be with us. And then the other journey that is starting in April is the portals of deconditioning. So if you've heard that it takes 7 years to decondition all your cells and all, or your not self, we're going to go on this journey for a year. We're going to go really deep in all the transits. We're following the sun around the wheel. We're going to learn about everything you need to know about the gene key and a gate, and also what it means to open the door and be shown by that archetype, during the transit of the sun. So that's going to start in gate 3, which is in April. And I feel like that journey is just kind of starting to show itself to us, Simone. So I'm excited about that one. And then that one I think is also already open for registration. So all this, you can find it on Unlock Your Design website. And we are going to be back here, Simone, next Monday. And I believe we're going to do a similar thing and speak a little bit more about, mirroring and, yeah, reflecting a little bit more about the values and a little bit more about the technical things that we are using for these kinds of exercises in our different groups.
It'll be great. I look forward to it. And if you're in our inner circle, we love you. Thank you so much for being a part of this journey with us and co creating with us along the way. And if you are not in our inner circle and you enjoyed today, we would love for you to join.
Thank you. Bye.